We're gonna do angel world cards today, just to see what is going on, connecting with the angels, just to see what's coming through. Just give me 1 minute while I get this video set up and shared out. If you're just finding me, take a second to say hi and go ahead and leave a comment, but also make sure that you're hitting the share button. So take a second to drop a comment, say hi, and hit the share button, especially if you're trying to get cards and things like that. We're going to do some angel cards and talk about the energies, and we got quite a little bit of energy coming in. You guys are most likely feeling the energy, especially if you resonate with being an empath, a light worker, healer, or even just an energy sensitive. You're definitely feeling some of these energies and energy shifts that are happening. And we will talk about that. Just give me 1 minute while I'm kind of sharing this out. All right, make sure you guys have hit the share button too. We'll get started. So last night, okay, we had a little bit of a blast from our sun. This was not an X flare, it was only an M, but close enough, it pretty much was. However, and this was from a sunspot last night, a big burst of energy that lasted over 3 hours headed towards us right now. I believe it's actually probably hitting us right about now too. So we did have some solar flare energy coming at us, and of course a halo CME headed in our direction, right? Make sure that you are staying grounded, Buttercup, because we're going for quite the ride. We've been in it a couple of days, but we're about to continue through it, and I really feel this is the last day of May, and June brings us a lot of galactic energies and a lot of high frequency energies because it brings us summer solstice, and we really kick off the energies of the summer solstice 3 weeks prior. That's right now, right? Coming at us. So we're going to see a lot of high energies, which is all right. But I have seen, and I'm just putting it out there, I have seen a lot of ascension symptoms this shift too, and people not really in the matrix knowing what's going on and not feeling really good and things like that can be expected, especially if not doing the energy work and stuff like that. But as long as you're working on yourself and doing that energy work and doing things to raise your vibration, you're probably feeling pretty good. And actually, and I always try to teach you on these, I don't want to say channel, on this page, not just to survive, but to thrive in these energies and to make them work for you and to do really good in these energies. So we want to be learning how to better connect with these energies, their frequencies, and I say bringing this down into our everyday lives and making it work for us and kind of tapping into and channeling these energies. So today also brings us a very positive energy. We have a sextile between our moon in Leo and Mercury, which is in Gemini. Expect a lot of ideas real fast. Gemini is like multitasking, 10 projects, 10 tabs open, right? 10 projects, lots of tabs open, lots of ideas, downloads, bouncing all over the place. I know you guys have probably been feeling that. Even I talk about since that Gemini new moon, we're in Gemini season, but with a lot of that Gemini energy, it does shine a light or highlight things going on in your mind, right? So, and this is a good thing. You might be getting a new creative idea or idea for your mission or next something you want to work on. And I know we're going to go into these cards, but sometimes when we're dealing with Gemini, it's kind of all over the place, scattered energy, but it can help us hone in on if you're needing a fresh perspective, new way of seeing things, or even new way of doing things, or something to kind of get you excited or back to life again, or whatever it is kind of energy. So we're still navigating Gemini season. You might need to ground a little bit. If you guys are feeling the energies, that's one of the best solutions. I would say healing, but energy work, right? But grounding will help you too. So if you're feeling like racing thoughts, maybe tonight can't fall asleep, right? You're having a hard time unwinding, and if you find yourself like laying in bed and you can't go to sleep and you got a million ideas and your mind's kind of racing, or you're feeling kind of funny, we could say floaty and spacey, or feeling a little out of sorts, whatever it is. Also, grounding will help you to anchor these energies, and it's actually the energy flows through us, so it can really help us too. So if you're needing it, ground a little bit extra today. And take care of yourself in these energies is something I don't think we hear enough, that we're going through a lot of energy changes, and that can be one of the best things too, to just kind of pay attention to how you're doing on the physical level too. Okay, not going to go too into this. I did do my usual and kind of post it all over this morning. We're going to do messages from the angel world. Make sure that you're checking out my website, sparksofdivinelighealing.com. I am an energy healer. I do tons of phone call reading sessions, coaching, energy healing sessions. I do clearings, activations, and healings. And I teach tons of classes like Reiki and Sikhem and try to get you guys more into this stuff. So I work with you guys one-on-one depending on what you need or what you're working on healing. If you need some healing in your life, don't be a stranger. Find me at my website, you book it, and I will literally come find you like magic. So tons of healings on there. I have lots of really good stuff on there. I always do a ton of work on my website. If you think I post a lot on Facebook, I put a lot of stuff up there. You know, I'm always posting little articles. I like to think that if you've purchased something before on there, it should email you with the updates I put on there. I try to put a lot of little, you know, blog updates on there and things like that too. I don't spam you too much. I just put what's going on. So if you want to know what's going on, you can always check on my website, or I have lots of products on there that will really, really help you with your spiritual awakening, ascension, and even healing journey. It doesn't matter what you're looking to heal. If you just need to shift something, you're working through something, or you're trying to bring a healing into an area of your life. I have lots of stuff on there. I have a little search bar on my shop. I have stuff up there for the next couple of days, and I'm going to go ahead and flip my site over. So I always keep it up to date with navigating these energies and what might be coming up. So we're doing angel world messages. If you guys are able to sign up and be a supporter or send PayPal donations or stars, please do. It helps a ton with keeping this page going. I know, right? And it helps a lot. Awesome way you guys can give something back. So if you're sending stars, you'll get a psychic, or I'll try to give you a psychic shout out, I say. Okay, let's see. Charita Nelson. And make sure you guys have hit the share button too and left a comment. Make a decision. And I love this because sometimes we don't, and I love to admit that, we don't always know where we're headed. Because you can always change directions, especially if you're tapping into this Gemini, which can be a little flighty and spur of the moment kind of energy, right? Spontaneous energy. And, you know, it's okay to change directions. It's okay to, we literally create entire universes and realities. And it's okay to pivot or change directions. And sometimes this can happen with creative inspiration and you're getting an idea, or you're getting some clarity, or you were a little lost and suddenly you know where you want to go, or you're kind of figuring things out for yourself. It is okay to build an entire life and to no longer align with it and want something new or want to do something new. And it just kind of depends. This can be like creative ideas, business projects, friendships, relationships, whatever it is. And so maybe you're at a crossroads, and I describe that with spiritual awakening. Nothing like a spiritual awakening to take us to that crossroad place and to figure out what we want. Sometimes for some people it is the choice to awaken or to stay asleep, but my hope is that you guys are awake on this video, all of you, right? And so you've already had a spiritual awakening, and so sometimes when we go through a spiritual awakening, it can take you in completely unexpected directions that you may or may not have seen coming as your awakening and spiritual journey unfolds. This is really the point where you start your life. A lot of people have awakenings at different ages. Some people could be quite young, I guess, but a lot of times people are like 30, 40, 50 years old going through a spiritual awakening. Your life doesn't actually start till you wake up. So wait, what was I doing that whole time when I was asleep? Practice. It was practice for the real deal. Once you awaken and you can finally kind of hone in on what you desire, what you want, and to create a life that is actually aligned with you in your awakening. And so oftentimes we've created a lot, I call it practice, a lot that wasn't in alignment with us, and it was practice and lessons needed and clearing karma and all this stuff. And when you go through a spiritual awakening, it is the greatest or the biggest reset that you will ever go through in your life, literally. And I like to think there's karmic undertones to it, like you had to kind of be at that place to let go of your karma and to move forward free, or whatever it is that helps people to awaken. But what is important is that you've gone through this awakening and that you might feel like you're not sure what direction to go in. It's like, do I go left or do I go right? I have some really good options. And, you know, every time that we're making a choice like that, and it could be for anything, our universe literally splits into parallel dimensions and realities, and we choose our way. And so if you feel like you're not sure, you're needing clarity, if you guys just want some guidance, good energies, you guys always know where to find me if you want to do a one-on-one session, and we can tap into your specific situation, which is way different than doing cards on the video, right? So if you're feeling a little like you're not sure which path to take, or you have multiple options presenting themselves, or you might feel a little stuck in a situation and what do, always know where to find me. So, Sylvia Garcia. Oh, and I'm going to go back to that really fast. So when we're driving, well, maybe I picture more like walking in the forest. We're like, we don't know what direction to take. Look for the signs. Look for this angel numbers, spirit signs, and spirit messages for clarity. If you're ever feeling lost and you don't know, it's like I took a wrong turn, I don't know where I am. You look for street signs, right? But the signs can be very, very valuable and powerful in guiding you if you do feel, you don't know what direction to take. Usually a sign will present itself and you'll be able to kind of tell too. Okay, it could, and just to go a little more into that for you, it could be, you're not sure about a situation you're in, or do you go in a new direction? Usually there's going to be some signs, like your friend says something, you get a message, or someone says something. I love to read reality. like people say things, you're getting information, and whether we resonate with it or not, the universe makes sure we get certain messages about things. It could be like you didn't know whether to take the job, and someone's telling you, is a great place to work, you'll love it, or whatever it is. You don't know whether to leave the relationship, and your friend's like, that person's pretty friggin' terrible, or whatever it is. You're getting messages. So if unsure too, you can always read the messages. Sylvia, passion, time to get excited about something. Gemini season is amazing for getting excited, and this could be like if you're just kind of, I talk about going through the motions, right? Ascension, awakening, going through the motions. You haven't felt real fired up. This is fire energy when we're dealing with this kind of, it's very masculine Mars, but it's also fire energy to get excited and kind of charged up about something. Today's energy is actually really, really valuable and good. It's very positive energy that can help to recharge us. And it's a lot of fire energy with that moon in Leo, which can get us excited again, fired up, charged up, whatever it is too. A lot of that might come through the mind with that Gemini energy. But this is actually getting excited about anything in your life, like, right? Anything, a project, a holiday, something you want to do. It could be anything. Like maybe people aren't very into what you're into. You just want to start a new home project or do something, and it's very exciting to you. I think it's just about, sorry, my cat thinks this is her bed now. Sorry. Okay. Just staying excited and passionate. And so sometimes we lose the spark. I talk about keeping that spark alive. That spark is literally like you're in your heart that keeps you alive and keeps you kind of fired up. And so I talk about kind of getting depleted and things like that. We want to keep that fire within your heart chakra alive and burning bright, and you'll have more of a zest and show up more energized for life and things like that. So there are things that can obviously put out our fire and dull our spark, right? And stuff like that. The more that we keep that spark charged up, and that is our God spark as well too, we get a little bit more excited about things, and it could be anything. This is why I'm huge on goals, passions, long-term plans. Even if they don't go as expected, you can at least make things happen. These high energies are amazing for manifesting things much faster on the manifestation level too. So it could be anything. It could be like a goal, something you want to experience, something you want to do because you have something to look forward to. And when you have nothing to look forward to, right? I think we all know when we just put it on autopilot what our subconscious does around here, and it's not that great. So when we have these little goals and ideas and things we want to do, and we're more conscious in the creation process, we begin to live a life that we enjoy much more too. So it could just be the littlest things like, I want to do this later on in the year or next year or whatever it is. Shauna Z, don't make any big moves right now, literally. And so maybe we have this wait message. Maybe you've been waiting on something, a manifestation that hasn't fully materialized, or, maybe you're not really making huge moves right now. You might be more in your little healing bubble or healing cocoon on your side time or whatever it is, and that's okay. So you might feel like things aren't moving very fast. That's okay too. You're kind of in this, like, I want to call it the healing space, the healing bubble. You're being guided to really work on healing yourselves. A lot of people don't like that. They actually try to skip that stage, even though it's actually through healing ourselves that we do our ascension work, and we can shift into higher timelines, higher realities, healthier connection, better people, attracting better, more abundance, opening up and activating our spiritual gifts and things like that. But you wouldn't believe the amount of people that are just so resistant, I know, to healing, right? Even though it's a stage, a big part of our awakening and stage is like you wake up and you go into, okay, you're being guided to heal some things, right? Pretty much your entire life on earth prior to that, or whatever you're still holding on to on the energy level. So even if you feel like you're not doing anything huge right now, healing yourself is massive. It is like the game changer in your life so that you can, you know, vibrate into a higher frequency and attract better. And so healing is like the most powerful thing that you could do. Some of you guys might have to heal and heal again, and, you know, depending on what life throws at you. And so it's a continuous, hopefully, process that you guys are working on bettering yourself, improving yourself, and healing yourself, especially on the energy level too. Then you feel better. Feeling better, attracting better. Tristan Jacobson, change. And this is, we don't like change either, I would say, right? This is like my little butterfly. I love it because it has all the little, these are my little, especially the blue butterfly. I always equate it with the spiritual messages. And this is always loved one in spirit coming through that are also helping you through these changes. You're not doing this by yourself, even though we think we are, right? You're showing up with powerful spiritual team and things like that too. So we're being guided to make changes. How about letting go of the things that are causing us, I say, misery, suffering, pain, holding us back, weighing us down. And this could be our own patterns, sabotaging behaviors, ways that we have blocks, things we need to work on and work through. And this is not overnight work. We've been doing this work our whole life, but oftentimes unconsciously. And so awakening, becoming consciously aware of our lessons and patterns and things the universe is trying to help us through. And I find that all it takes is wanting to change something, and the universe is a big fan of that. Trust me on this. A lot of your awakening was trying to get your attention. Like, you can't keep living like this. You're not in alignment. This isn't working out. And once we awaken to this level to realize, okay, I'm working on myself, that's all it takes for all of the karma to dissipate and disappear. And you don't need all of this catalyst energy and negative energy in your life and the things the universe may or may not have thrown at you in your past to awaken you and get your attention. And life gets a lot easier. It gets calmer. It gets peaceful. And so being guided to just continue to work on yourself and whatever changes that requires. Now, this is why, and I have my book links pinned on my video, I wrote about this. I decided at a certain point, Spirit, to go back and write some of the changes I was being guided to make, because I was guided to make some changes within my awakening, and I still am. I'm still working the process with all of you guys, you know that, and making these changes that really, really begin to change my life. And so sometimes it's in the small habits of how we waste our time, how we spend our time that isn't good for us. And it could be obvious, like traumas and addictions, sometimes not so obvious, and it could be just whatever we're doing, okay? So chances are when you go through a spiritual awakening, you're going to get some spirit guidance. And sometimes when you can tell it's a spirit guidance because some of it might even come through as an intuitive feeling or a sense to be working on something or letting something go, releasing something within yourself. Or it could be a little bit louder, like a voice in your head kind of nagging you when you don't do it. like you're being guided. So you're going to get that guidance, and whatever way it's coming through, you're being guided to make some changes because we need to lighten and raise up our frequency again and, you know, do that. It's really a lot of frequency work so that we can do better. Now, little reminder, I know it's kind of out of the message, but I always remind you guys that with these ascension energies, all of them coming in the planet, it doesn't matter if they're solar energies like right now, galactic coming with them, these ascension energies, I just call them, are flooding the planet. And most of them have one thing in common, is that they amplify our own energy, our thoughts, our frequency, and what's going on within themselves. So I'm just going to give you a couple of really bad examples. I had a really bad day at work. Sorry. And I'm coming home in a real bad mood. You're going to feel that extreme if you are. Okay, I had an okay day at work. I'm doing okay. I'm feeling great. You're going to feel real great. like they just amplify your feelings, your emotions, what's going on within you and your frequency. And so those that have not done, we'll just say enough of the work and are, you know, living not at a really fulfilled, happy place, they might be feeling, you'll notice people are getting a little more grouchy in the energies, right? Like it's amplifying them. Like they were already in a bad mood. They're like level 3 bad mood. They go to level 10 bad mood. And it feels extreme for yourself, not anyone else generally. And then maybe you're having a really good day, the highs and lows around here with these, the energies are like a roller coaster sometimes. And so you're having, you know, a level 3 great day, you go up to a 10. And so they just amplify where you're at energetically, but also your thoughts, your feelings, your vibration and things like that. So this is why we have to do the inner work too. Now let's not forget all this energy coming into the planet is pure magic. So you're sitting around thinking something today. It is literally manifesting instant at this level. And I know a lot of us don't perceive believe that. We're already all living in the 5D frequencies, and so it's important that we are adjusting and getting used to them, because they operate a little bit different than in the 3D, where you could sit around and think about whatever you wanted, and maybe your subconscious would make that for you, maybe not. But in the higher energies, we are instant manifesting everything as we go, and much faster with all that energy behind it too. So it's important that, number one, I always talk a lot about taking care with our thoughts, and number two, feeling good. And I know, like, I mean, really feeling good. And I mean, not like the instant dopamine hit gratification, buying something to feel good. I mean, like, feeling good within yourself and feeling anchored and secure within yourself the best you can. So all that will help you. Sam, good morning. Joy. This is solar plexus energy. And so what actually blocks up joy, we talk about feeling good. And one way we can feel good is to really tap into that inner joy. Not to mention our solar plexus goes through a lot of upgrades with the Ascension. I had my chakra skim before. My solar plexus was like huge, I noticed, on the thing. So our solar plexus goes through a lot, especially if you guys are energy sensitive and empath. You might really operate strongly out of that. And one thing that blocks up our solar plexus, which basically determines if we're happy or not, and we all just want to be happy. And I don't mean like a 10-second happiness, like I said, from purchasing something. I mean like real happiness. Something that blocks up our solar plexus is old emotions and childhood trauma. And so oftentimes you are happy, it's buried underneath a lot of things unresolved in our solar plexus. So when we awaken, we begin to work on our chakras. And as we open up all of our chakras, it begin to literally change our energy and change our life. And so we come with a lot of blocked chakras. If you guys read my second book, I'll go into where the blocks come from your family line and things like that. As your energy was encoded when you came to Earth, we do a lot of work on like our bodies and things like that. So oftentimes it's not until our awakening that we begin to do a lot of that energy work, usually, and things like that. So the more you work with your solar plexus, number one, you're going to be more intuitive and better able to read people, situations, and energies behind things. And this could be like on the psychic level. Maybe it's just being more intuitive and tapping into your own inner knowing. And not to mention you've resolved a lot karmically because you've processed your inner child trauma and emotional baggage and things like that too. So when I see when people haven't done a lot of solar plexus, all it takes is that, I don't want to go into the list of misfortune. Anything that comes up in a negative light, it can really spin people emotionally because they're not emotionally balanced and grounded already. So you go through some type of trauma and it's even more kind of emotional and things like that. And so the more that you can heal your solar plexus, you're going to be more emotionally regulated and grounded and better, emotionally and things like that too. And I think that's a lot of what we want and a lot of our goals is being able to, stay balanced emotionally and things like that. Then we feel better. We're not purging everywhere and spinning everywhere and things like that too. So solar plexus healing, really, really beneficial, especially for those of you guys that are empath and picking up on things. Because oftentimes, if you're an empath, you absorb a lot and you're needing boundaries. Like I was having to have some real boundaries lately. I'm just saying, not trying to be mean. People probably think I am saying that. Like having to have boundaries on the psychic level too. So a lot of times if you're an empath, you might need better boundaries because you're always absorbing. And it is not your job to take on everyone's karma and, pain and things like that, even though you do, not trying to, because guess where all of that filters through your solar plexus. And we know that if you are constantly taking on negative energies, it can make you sick or out of balance, or you'll start to feel kind of negative processing all of that and things like that too. So the more open and clear we are on the solar plexus level, you're probably going to be able to kind of filter through. I look at it like a filter through better the energies that you're picking up and like better read them and things like that too. So really, blocked up and not very healed in the solar plexus, it can really affect you, not in a good way, being an empath and kind of absorbing a lot of stuff too. So the stronger your solar plexus is, maybe you'll, absorb less negative energy and it won't affect you as much too. Let's do Dustin. Very soon, and this is my waiting. Once again, we're doing the waiting game and things like that. Things are really going to start to, this is the last day. Things are really going to move for June, and I mean in a good way. It brings us a lot of Sirian energies, a lot of galactic energies, and even the energies of the summer solstice. And so we have a big, I call it, like I describe it as a big cleansing vibe still happening with today's shift especially. It's like letting go of a lot of karmic imprints, whatever you're still holding on to, the karmic baggage, and it helps to have awareness of your lessons, what you're still processing and things like that, so that we don't have to process it unconsciously in a karmic light and things like that. So we're still letting go of anything kind of, and that is the ascension work, letting go of the baggage on the energy level. So letting go of anything that you're still holding on to. We're going to continue to see a big karmic healing that's going to happen over the next 2 months specifically, of like if you guys have been still kind of working through something or old energies still affecting you, a big clearing and cleansing happening. Powerful energies for getting the ideas for what you're going to lay down over the summer, the next couple of months too. So Gemini season is pretty good for the ideas. Pay attention if you get any good ones right now, and kind of anchoring that in. Let's see. I see Shauna Z, thank you. Manifest your potential. So we just talked about huge manifestation energies. Sometimes everything starts with an idea in your head, even the negative belief and thought, and then it turned out real, like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't happen tomorrow. It happens. That's the negative side of it, right? Or I really would like this to happen. It happens. So also, a lot of manifestation starts within the mind. Now, with today's Gemini, Mercury and Gemini alignment, or Gemini season, the veil is really thin between your thoughts and your manifestations. That can be really a good thing. Sometimes we have to get more intentional. If we're like, manifest what? I don't really, just blank space for your life. You don't know. Subconscious continues to create your reality. Mixed bag if you look at your past of what it brings you, right? When we get more intentional and aligned with what we do want, we have to get clear. It's like, I always describe it, I hate to say it like this, it's literally like you have a virtual reality headset at your brain and you are controlling your entire reality based on your thoughts, literally like a video game. I hate to say that. And a lot of people don't have that awareness and haven't done that work happening anyways. Even if you're like manifestation, whatever, you're manifesting still. And so when we get more awake and aware and intentional, we can do a better job with how we're flowing with reality and creating reality, because you are creating every second of your life based on your thoughts and what you're putting out there. Now, a lot of our internal programming becomes repetitive, and with the awakening, we're being guided to take a deeper look at ourself and our programming and to let go of negative thoughts, beliefs, ideas that are no longer serving us. Some of this stuff we picked up from childhood society programming, past hurts, traumas, whatever it is. Time to let go of the negative, and that is a lot of the deepest manifestation work you will do. Yeah, we put the idea out there, but to clear the blocks, which are negative thoughts that always block us from whatever we're creating and things like that too. So getting a manifestation mindset, getting intentional, you can do that. I always talk about visualization and holding the vision and picturing whatever it is you're manifesting. It doesn't matter what it is, especially if it's something tangible in the physical, making a manifestation list, praying to the universe and really putting it out there. We're putting these thoughts and ideas out there all day long. Make sure they're positive, as they are literally weaving your future, yourself, and your path moving forward. So in ancient times, they did a lot of work with putting out positive intentions, prayer, and good ideas and things like that, because they knew it could change the course of their destiny and their path moving forward. And so as you walk that path moving forward, it's going to be made up of your thoughts. Literally lots of negative seeds. But we want to talk about putting positive things out there that can literally make your path a lot more positive moving forward too. So this is a card talking about manifestation, working with the third eye, and really tapping into your manifestation gifts. You have superpowers. Some people weren't aware of that. Usually they come out of the awakening because you kind of learn how to, I don't want to say operate, learn how to work them, right? Learn how to work with our gifts better, learn how to activate them. David Curtin, strengthen your faith, and it's one of my favorites because, okay, strengthen your faith, and sometimes this is what we're learning how to do as we're walking our path, and that no one can really do that for you. It has a lot to do with your belief system, your spiritual trust, and your spiritual faith. Now, we're going to get a lot of lessons here on earth anyways, we know this, but it makes it a lot easier when you can turn to the spiritual. When we open up our crown chakra and we have that faith and more faith, then we allow the universe to better guide us through whatever. And this can help us with manifesting miracles, our spiritual connection, and drawing on the spiritual and bringing it down into the physical to help us if we're needing it too. So no matter what your life or your path looks like, make sure that you're staying anchored into the spiritual and having more trust and faith going through your process, whatever that looks like. I always love it because I always talk about, I'm on this posting about twin flames all day. the angels and archangels all have twin flames. So Archangel Faith is actually Archangel Michael's twin flame. And you can call these twin rays, twin souls. So very divine feminine too, message. Let's see. Lena, take care of yourself. And I think I put that out here. I've been doing videos all day, so I get confused, right? Take care of yourself. And so sometimes I know we think it's like laying around and doing bubble baths all day, but sometimes it's also facing yourself, doing the shadow work, releasing blocks, letting go of, patterns that aren't serving you, and taking a deeper look at yourself, not to be judgy like people think, but to help yourself through this process. You are going to walk yourself through this process. You're going through a really, really deep process and a lot of changes, but make sure you're actually taking care of yourself and your energy. We have a lot of people, I'm going to say, I try not to say anything these days, very focused with how they look. Beauty industries are booming, but not taking a look at, true beauty within and how you get the glow up. Right? And I was talking about getting that glow up, literally, cleaning up your diet, eating better foods, but also doing that energy and that spiritual work to become a better person. It's not about looking like a better person. It's about becoming a better person. And then you have that spiritual glow. And I mean, on the aura level too. So I see a lot of people kind of, not knocking it, but doing things on that level, when really we should be kind of doing more aura work and energy work to get that glow up and things like that. So you could have, just not knocking it, but most beautiful person on the planet, but they could still have a lot of problems in their aura because your energy field is either attracting or repelling people or whatever it is, right? Our energy field is very vast and bigger than we think. So we should be working on taking care of our energy field. There's a lot that can drain us, deplete us, wear us out on this planet if you didn't notice. And the more that we are taking care of our energy, and I mean, on the energy level, we're going to feel a lot better. Sometimes this is clearing out karmic cords, attachments, big time, right? Keeping our chakras clear, releasing trauma and things on a deeper level, because that's how you're really going to get that glow up, literally, and things like that. And people will feel really good in your energy, and you'll probably notice that because you'll begin to attract people. So also, yes, take care of yourself on that level, self-care, but also remember to take care of yourself on that energy level too, as we're recoding in a really, really big way. We're going from this 3D version of ourselves to this 5D version of ourselves. And so we're also doing a lot of recoding. That's why I do activations, to send you guys the codes that you need to embody this transformation too. And so if we're not doing that work, sometimes we're having a kind of a rough time. It's like you have an incomplete set of codes. You don't have the whole complete set of codes. And when you do that work and you do this activation work, you're sent the codes that you need to, I don't want to say reprogram, but to reprogram your energy field and your frequency and things like that. And it'll really, really help you. It's a little bit like having half the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, right? And you're like, I don't know what's going on here, to get that complete set of things like that too. So obviously things like, I always talk a lot about starseed activation, doing activation work, doing energy work to really, really bring that down into the physical. So take care of yourself, but also remember on the energy level too. Your aura gets dusty, not you personally, but right? Your aura can get dusty. We talked about absorbing a lot and whatever it is, your boss's negative attitude, your relationship, right? Like you're absorbing energy. So you want to clean your aura up, we'll say. It's kind of like, okay, we take a bath, me taking the shower, like we take a bath and things like that. But if we don't clean our energy field, it can get a little yucky. And sometimes some of you guys can see auras, some of you guys not so much. So we don't want to be carrying that energy around, right? Jamie McDonald, devotion. And so this is also literally using things like prayer, spiritual ritual, and the little things that you're going to bring into your day, which are going to change your life. It doesn't matter what it is, like making sure maybe you sage your house once a day, right? Could be lighting some incense. Prayer, meditation. I always feel, I always have to meditate a minimal amount of nights, I meditate at night. And it could just be doing things like meditation to better connect, doing energy work. The energies can connect you. I always talk a ton about that. It could be using things like prayer, putting out your intentions, manifesting rituals, and kind of learning how to integrate this 5D into your everyday life. We're going to keep living here on Earth, right? And then bringing it down so that you can become this more and more spiritual version of yourself too. So when I talk about this is also, you're praying your prayers are being heard and answered, but this is a powerful way that you can strengthen your spiritual connection. So a lot of times people, hate to say it, they probably don't pray a lot until they go through something, really negative, and they get on their knees then, right? Like, right? Okay. And you haven't used the phone. It's the line's dead, right? Like, you never prayed in your life and suddenly you pick it up the phone, which is a good thing. I'm not knocking it. But the more that you pray, you're also strengthening your spiritual connection. Look at it like a cord. I don't like to use that analogy, but it's the best way to kind of explain it. You have this cord to the spiritual. Literally, you're corded to your angels, spirit guides, and source. The more that you communicate, the more that you can open up that the angels can help you, your spirit guides, and even source. And I always talk about having to ask for help in a situation. So if you're literally, I'm not saying you are, but say you're drowning, you don't know how to get out of a situation, you need the divine. The best thing you can do is to ask for help and ask for assistance, because you're going to get it through too. And so sometimes we don't like to ask, humans or angels, right? But the angels are always there. Like, literally, you have actual angels that have chosen to walk this path with you that you would have picked out with your spirit team and things like that. So you also have personal angels like guardian angels, spirit guides. You have loved ones around you all the time. Source, of course, my favorite to work with in those energies. So when we do pray, this is also where we make space to also open up more spiritual energy. So like I was seeing, like, prayer's the ultimate frequency change and frequency shift and alchemizing situation, getting actual real help. Like, some people might be praying because you don't know how to, you got something going on and you can't swing it and you don't know. And you'll find that, trust me, the universe is finding a way to help you in these situations in whatever way too. So crown chakra work, strengthening your spiritual connection. I don't want to call it a phone. Don't be afraid to pick up the prayer outline and things like that. But this is also one way that you can raise your spiritual frequency and to activate your crown chakra. And that was something that I always did my entire life. And you guys know I have a obviously strong spiritual connection. And so that's one way, as simple as just praying all the time. And it doesn't even have to be asking for something, especially when we show gratitude or we're grateful for something or we're sending these messages or prayers. Very, very powerful for strengthening your spiritual connection. When we do pray more, it brings a lot more of the violet flame or even purple energies or crown chakra energies into our energy field. We basically need to work with each of the chakras and activate them more. So one good way to open up the higher spiritual chakras. Let's do Sydney Thomas. Expect a miracle. And so this is huge too. Sometimes we get into, I don't want to say negative mindset. I don't think this will work out. This will never happen. We're talking about the universe that can rearrange everything in a second if it wants for you, right? Like, sometimes we feel very small as humans, and we might not be able to make something work. And I think that's the point of Earth, that we learn that we need to lean on the spiritual too. So this is like thinking something is going to go bad or it's not going to work out. And once again, this is connected with the crown chakra energy. And we can also, maybe some of you guys have been a part of that. We can manifest miracles ourselves for other people. It could be something in your own life for other people in such a spiritual, powerful way too. So this is also really drawing on the spiritual and learning how to open up to those energies. And then whether it's just asking for some type of help, assistance, or even miracle energy in your life. And we can see that sometimes we're needing that in our human experience. It just kind of depends on for what. We can see that with the healing big time, and shifts and things like that too. So this is staying open to the divine in all of the ways that the divine can work miracles in your life. Michelle Birch, forgiveness. Chakra energy and letting go of something, because it's very heavy to carry around. And so sometimes, we're having to work through things that can take an entire lifetime. It could be ways that we were hurt in the past. Sometimes we think that we have resolved it, and karmically, well, we might still be having issues, whatever it is. It could just be on an energy level. I find that people that, especially this has a lot to do with love, death, the afterlife, this heart chakra. So sometimes just for whatever reasons, we can carry blocks there. So every time you are hurt, literally in your life, think of a little block going into your system. We call these karmic imprints. And so we need to do more work with the heart chakra to open it up more, especially when every time you go into a new connection, it probably triggers your old connections, or if it's a relationship, or even we've gone through a lot of, loss. I always talk about grief, losing people we love, things like that with the heart chakra. It just depends on what this is from. It's also yourself. And this is a powerful message about letting go of old versions of yourself and not continuing, I don't use the word torture, beat yourself up over it, or be critical about your own past and things like that. I feel that that's why we go through our path, to teach us that as well too. So sometimes it's like, no problem, you forgave everyone who hurt you. Some people, like, no problem, and you moved on. But it's like little things about your own past that you need to let go of. So this is resolving something from your past. This could be within yourself, or whatever it is. Sometimes we do that without realizing it, by holding on to old versions of ourselves, or old hurts, or old karmic experiences that we've been through, not understanding, you know, how we ended up in these situations, whatever it is. Heart chakra healing. I have so many heart chakra healings and activations on my website if you guys do need them. I do have a search bar on my site and in my shop if you're looking for something like that too. So heart chakra healing will help anyways. We need to anyways. So a lot of times we've gone through the 3D, the first 3 chakras, and when we go into awakening, we're needing to work with the heart chakra a lot more, because this is the 4th dimension. And so we start out in the 4th dimension of awakening. We're needing to kind of spiral the energy upwards. So sometimes, you know, maybe you're really good in your upper chakras or your lower chakras, and you have a couple blocks in your heart, you know, breakup, past, whatever. And we think we're real open, but it can pull up the energy and block or constrict our energy flow. So we want to do more heart chakra work, because we oftentimes carry the deepest work needing to be done in that chakra too. So it could just be letting go of something from your past. And let's do Teresa Spark. Archangel Michael, amazing to work with the angels and archangels. Is one way that we can connect with the angels and angelic energy, especially as we're trying to, through Ascension, embody that energy and transition into our angelic selves, right? And things like that. But Archangel Michael's amazing if you're needing protection, you're needing some guidance, you're needing to release heavy energies, cut cords, whatever it is, you know, having something you're going through that's very intense. And so that we can always work with Archangel Michael. They have so many ways that we can do that too. So connecting with Archangel Michael, especially coming to mind the Blu-ray. Some of you guys might be Blu-ray starseeds, and so Archangel Michael would oversee that ray, including you, in some type of way. So we have archangels, and each one comes from a ray. When we're dealing with Archangel Michael, it's the Blu-ray who oversees all of the angels of the Blu-ray. Think starseed, Blu-ray starseeds. And a lot of you guys, maybe, especially if you feel you're healing a lot of trauma, intergenerational trauma, or, you know, came to break down the old or whatever it is, you might really resonate with that. Okay, I'm going on that note anyways. I'm going to be around doing healings and activations. I've pinned them all over my video, I hope, but you can find them in my shop. Awesome day to find me if you guys do need something. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend.